Hey everybody, what's going on? Rhap Cesternino back here with my longtime check-in collaborator, here to talk about a brand new season of Survivor UK. And so every week here in the patron feed, I will check in with our chief international Survivor correspondent. It is Shannon Guss. Shannon, how are you?
Rob, I'm good. Long time no see.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to start by saying Peter has taken umbrage with the word check-in
Yeah.
because he's like, I tell him what I'm doing, and he still is like, wait, what are you like? Wait, so I'm like, I'm going to be doing a lot of podcasting coming up. He's like, why? I'm like, well, I've got this, and you know, it's going to be Survivor UK, and then the check-ins with Rob. He's like, yeah, but there's like once a month, right? I'm like, no, that's every week. He's like, then how is that a check-in? What makes that a check-in? That's just a
We're not
podcast.
we're not doing it every day, Peter.
Yeah, it could be daily. Don't
Yeah.
threaten us with a good time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay. So for anybody who has not been paying attention that closely, Shannon and I, earlier this year, we started doing, of course, Shannon does incredible coverage of really the coverage of Australian Survivor.
Biased.
And then, because I wanted to watch along, of course, George was back for this season. I said, I gotta see George on Australian Survivor. So we did a podcast every week talking about that, in addition to Shannon's extensive hours and hours of coverage that she was already doing. Then this summer, Shannon's all-time favorite U.S. Survivor player, Sari
Wait, no, you
Field.
missed. We also checked in on Brains versus Brawn.
Oh,
Does that podcast series mean nothing to you?
No, you know what? It all ran into all of the Australian Survivor ran into each other. Yeah, then we did a full rewatch of Australian
It's hard to remember
Survivor
before Big Brother because that's been
2021.
incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that totally all of the Australian Survivor just bled into it. Was a lot of
George.
people. It was a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
And then that ended, and we said, well, what are we gonna do next? And then Shannon's all-time favorite Survivor player, Sari Fields, ended up playing on Big Brother. So in addition to all of the Big Brother coverage, then Shannon was the one checking in every single week. And then that's still going. We just did one of those yesterday. And now here we are. Now Shannon and George are all the worlds are colliding.
I know.
Amazing. And Shannon and George are hosting podcasts recapping 2 episodes a week of Survivor UK. And here in the Patreon feed, I said, well, I got to check in and see what's going on with the UK Survivor. Is it UK Survivor or Survivor UK?
I actually don't know. I feel like I have not nailed that down.
Yeah.
What is like? Well, let's see what it says on
Wikipedia.
Yeah, let's
do
this
here.
Yeah.
And so this is I'm looking at this. This is on radiotimes.com. They call it Survivor UK.
Yeah, it feels like it's Survivor UK. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So that's the first thing out of the way. Because
Yeah.
I was honestly, I feel like I was interchanging.
Mm-hmm.
This is the content you came for. The name of the show.
What is the name of the show? Yes, and 2 episodes of Survivor UK have aired. They air on Saturday night and Sunday nights, so twice a week. We've been having live watch parties for our patrons in the Discord, and then also our patrons are watching along, following the shows quite easily, and so Shannon, in addition to covering it with George, episode 1 recap has already dropped, has exit interviews as well.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. I mean, look, it's International Survivor. This is my 5th country of Survivor, Rob.
Wow.
Stamping the passport. Like, not literally, because I'm just in this apartment, trapped like a prisoner. But in terms of, Survivor seasons covered, I'm quite worldly, I would say. So, so it's on Saturday night and Sunday night, which for me is Sunday morning, Monday morning, which for Americans is Saturday and Sunday in the daytime. But then they're also like putting the episodes up online.
Oh,
they're putting both. So, well, the Saturday night episode airs, and then they put both up online. So you can just watch both before the second one is aired.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, which is what I did. So.
All right. Well,
convenient.
So it's twice a weekend. And if you watch it live, it's a pretty decent time, even in the US, to watch it because it's on prime time in the UK, which is about 6 hours ahead of us here on the East Coast. So middle of the afternoon. So not bad if you want to catch up with that on the weekend. And so I have watched 2 episodes, and I figured let's talk a little bit about Survivor UK. Shannon, what's your impression overall about 2 episodes of Survivor UK?
I mean, I feel like I'm giving it grace. I've seen, kind of a spectrum of responses. I feel like people thought the first episode was a little meh, coming from how fast-paced New Era Survivor, US Survivor is, and even where Australian Survivor has gotten to, and definitely where Survivor South Africa even started. Not every reboot can have its second episode go to a rock draw, but that was the time. But for UK Survivor, it's way more chill. We haven't, introduced mechanisms yet. The strategy is still evolving, but like I'm okay with giving it a little bit of time, knowing that UK audiences are so new to this format. They've not had any Survivor air for 20-something years. So we're hand-holding through it. And I personally am giving that grace. George was like, get to the good stuff. But I feel like I'm giving it a little bit of time.
To me, it feels a little bit like the first season of Australian Survivor, where we're really like setting things up. It seems like that the players are not exactly sure what the show is. Like, will there be a Nick Iadanza that emerges, that sort of like, that sort of emerges as the person who like really introduces like, okay, this is like what's happening in these international versions of the show, and brings it and sort of like infects the Survivor UK with sort of like the hardcore strategy that then in the second season of Survivor UK we see like really, proliferate.
Yeah. Well, this is what I was kind of talking about with George. In Australia, like we always had US Survivor airing. So it's niche to be a super fan at the best of times, but like clearly we found our way, and UK Survivor fans obviously have as well, but they've like really had to work for it. Like they can only get it by nefarious means. And so it's probably even a more limited audience in terms of, firstly, who's going to be a super fan, and secondly, how much even casual fans know. Like in Australia, if you mention Survivor, even someone who doesn't watch the show will be like, yeah, Survivor, even before Australian Survivor is on. But so many people, even in this cast, were like, I had never heard of Survivor. Imagine never hearing of Survivor. It's like, it doesn't even compute to me that could be true. So the cast is kind of like, from the preseason, you could tell, broken down into like, there are a couple of like really big, like Nick level fans, like those types of people. Like Ren is probably that person. Shy, who's now been demonized, also seems to really love the show. Then there's probably people who kind of like it. Then there's people who don't watch it but prepped, and then there are people who came on thinking that literally it was just challenges and camping,
athletes, stuff like that.
And Lee was one of them. He literally said he didn't know there was a strategic component, the boxer, that he said, I'm an idiot. Like he didn't even watch an episode of the show, which was true of Australian Survivor too. I say that everyone would know what it is, but Sam Webb did not. So maybe I already was wrong on my first. And he even by the second time he was like, Colby Donaldson, like, do you know these people? But I think that's rare. Like I think that we're really wading into very new territory for the UK.
But overall, I thought it looks beautiful. Maybe with the exception of lighting at Tribal Council. But overall, like it looks great. I mean, to me, it feels more like Australian Survivor than it feels like US Survivor, just based off of like stylistically. But I also think that like in terms of style, and I think this is interesting to see different countries like take their own sort of spin on Survivor. Like this is a Survivor that the soundtrack is more of, I'd say, like a Peloton class than what you would hear on a normal episode of like CBS Survivor.
That's true. Okay, well, we don't have like the Winners of War theme song, but we have Laurence being introduced to Old Town Road, which I loved because Laurence is like the best character we have. He didn't get it as much in the first 2 episodes. His preseason content, he's incredible, and for him to just be on a horse to Old Town Road, the claim to fame tie-ins, it was just an incredible sequence. So people are mad at the contemporary music, and you obviously just insulted it incredibly, but
no, I wasn't mad at it.
It's fine.
Yeah, we can bring in here. I have the slideshow up of this is from Cosmo.com.
Okay, well, don't scroll too far because these are super spoilery.
Okay, all right. Here, well, here's a picture.
It was done after the season, Rob.
Yeah, here I'm not reading them, but here's a picture of the guy.
Read it. Read it. Go back,
Okay.
read one.
Okay.
Go scroll down. There's one really fun. There's so okay. Scroll down.
All right. Here's Laurence. That
I don't know how much
he
they put
talked
in.
about how that, and they really do dwell a lot. I feel like in these 2 episodes about the lack of creature comforts, and the amount of creatures, because Laurence says like. He's like, well, like, really, the issue for me here is going to be no ice in my gin and tonic. Really, no gin and tonic either.
Just gin.
Yes. So he is an entrepreneur, and then so he said that his aim is to play. This is what you want me to read?
Well, scroll down. See how much there is.
Yes.
How much is that? Is that all they did?
He would play neutral Switzerland.
Is that all they gave?
That's all I have on this website.
Okay. Because in the BBC, firstly, this is gonna be a full Laurence podcast. I want all my podcasts to be Laurence podcasts. He has a supplement business. What do you think the name of the business is? I think it's supplements.
Lawrence's Supplements.
No, you get one more guess. Think about. I can't. There's no way you'll guess it. It's impossible. It's called Survivor.
Oh.
It's called Survivor. So he's like, it's so coincidental. I have a business named Survivor. The show is named Survivor. I'm like, no, we're Survivor. We are like, you don't get to take. So, and he just, anyway, Laurence didn't know the show, but prepared in ways like eating creepy crawlies, like as if he was going on like Fear Factor and needed to prepare. I was like, I don't think you needed to do that. And we didn't get enough of it. We got that like great first confessional, but otherwise I think he's one of the most underrated players, but give Laurence a chance to shine because I feel like this is the time.
Shannon, we also have a host of Survivor UK who I feel like is a little bit different tonally than I feel like than many of the other Survivor hosts. Or I mean, we don't veer that far from like
it's not a woman.
It's not, God forbid. It's still a white man. But that being said, so the host of Survivor UK is Joel Dommett. What did you think of Joel? Who I feel like comes across as the youngest of any of the Survivor hosts.
He has a boyish charm.
Do
you feel?
Yes.
I thought he was great. If someone said Mike Bloom in podcast in Survivor host form, making ridiculous puns, which I loved.
Well, I thought it was pretty fun. I liked it, but here's from the Daily Mail and the Daily Mail.
Research you've been doing. I'm so impressed.
Yes. They say
time for this. I don't even know.
Survivor viewers slam reboot as excruciating and soulless, with some threatening to switch off over host Joel Dommett's constant commentary.
Okay, what do they mean like the narration, or do they mean him like the challenges?
I think they don't like his jokes.
Why are they explaining what Survivor is? His jokes are great. Live a little, Daily Mail.
Yes. Okay.
He's wearing a green shirt, not even blue. Very different.
Yeah, they didn't like that he was made too many jokes.
The immunity challenge. Okay, so viewers took to social media to share their thoughts.
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't judge a book by its cover. Scroll up.
Yeah.
Shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but there's a reason why the original Survivor lasted 2 series. Actually, there are parts of the world where it lasted a lot more than that. I don't even know how to tell you. We've been doing our whole thing elsewhere. There are like dozens of seasons.
And so the Daily Mail has been finding some Twitter takes. And they said, this person said, is it just me being extra picky, or does this episode of Survivor feel extremely low energy? Like everyone in the cast seems quite meh. Where are the personalities? Where's the excitement?
That's harsh, but it kind of sounds like
this person said, bit of a flop, I fear.
Watch 15 minutes with this is mean. This is so mean. Saturday should be for dancing and quiz shows. Go out, British people, get a life. That's what, I don't understand. I'm sorry. I don't mean to, like, it's weird to me that prime time is on Saturday night. Now I don't go out on a Saturday night, but you all should go out.
This person, Janice Shanice Caprice McCoon, said Joel narrating the tasks like he's got the audio description voice.
That's not even fair or true. Why are we giving this to the Daily Mail? I don't agree on the Daily Mail.
Stop narrating. Survivor doesn't have or need narration. Come on.
Okay, it absolutely. Have you seen the show? We have been doing this for decades. Like, why are they acting like we haven't had Survivor?
I don't know. I guess that some people.
I love this show when it was originally shown years ago, but there's too much commentary. It's actually been on this whole time, guys. It's actually, if you could just get some sort of VPN or just, like we actually have been doing things. There's been quite a few seasons since 2002. The world that could open. But
I thought he was fun. I felt like that he was like making way more jokes than we've ever seen as like even JLP.
Yeah, even JLP,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that he's very dry. This was not a dry Survivor host.
JLP's, like JLP's like Wolverine, like funny Wolverine. But Joel Dommett's just like a comedian.
I mean, Wolverine is pretty funny.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's like Wolverine, but like with Deadpool. but
deadpan.
Joel Dommett was really, really funny. He was eating a banana. I thought he was great. It is someone's job to just screen grab all those mean tweets, like sit there for a long time. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, they don't have an article without it.
It was a stupid article. It was bad, and I think Joel Dommett, is it Dommett or Dommett? I'm going to ask the consultants.
Yes.
The pronunciation.
Okay. All right. So we had 2 hours of Australia. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops. Survivor UK.
I should be doing that. I've been saying Big Brother. Big Brother, so both wrong.
But I did feel like that this is a bit of a throwback. I mean, I feel like it was also giving some US Survivor season 1 vibes that the contestants did not really seem to know a ton about like what they were getting themselves into.
But you know what? I think we're gonna have a bit of a time machine, right? Like episode 1, pretty Borneo. There was a marooning. It wasn't a ton of strategy. It was like kind of a broad vote. Episode 2 already alliances. Okay, so we've already gone like 3/4 of the season forward.
Yep.
And then next season there's going to be an idol. We're going to skip like 12
week.
seasons ahead. Yeah, no, sorry, that's what I meant. Next episode,
the
Outpost is coming.
Okay.
And that's from Survivor New Zealand. We also use it in Survivor South Africa. I love the Outpost, which is like what it's meant to be in effect. I don't know if they'll use it this way, but it's meant to be like a cross-tribal place.
Yeah,
where,
I'm actually not familiar with it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've not. That was from my first season that I ever covered from Survivor New Zealand, and I've always loved the Outpost. It's kind of quite a dynamic twist. Like it's not, but it's just
like a journey, is what you're saying.
I mean, I see how when you say it back. Firstly, it was pre-journey. Secondly, it's better than a journey. And now that you're saying it, it honestly sounds similar than a journey, but people don't wager their votes. It's more. Actually, maybe
do they get sandwiches?
I think they have in the past. I think they've got
sounded a little bit like a journey to me.
Oh, I should remember more about the Outpost to know why it's especially good, and the journey is not that good. The journey used to be like it was Shipwheel Island. It was specifically about a ship wheel. Now the journey is kind of its own thing. So
its own thing. Yeah.
They stole it from New Zealand, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about our 2 tribes that we have, and blue and orange.
No, we're not. No.
No, we're not doing that.
No. Get with it. You know the tribe names?
Calaton,
yeah.
Yeah. Can we call it? I mean, we're recording this on Halloween. Can we call it Skeleton?
That's cute. But then what about next week when it's not Halloween?
We'll go back to Calaton.
Yeah, then we'll go back. And then, so is it La Nena? Because Wikipedia got it wrong in my preview podcast. Now I can't remember which one is right.
Yeah.
Wait, I have it in my notes. Why
it's not Lamina.
Yeah. Well, George felt like Calaton was very Lamina. So what do we have? We have La Nena. I thought it was Lenina. In preseason, I was calling them, I thought it was Danina. So then I was calling it Danina and Desandra. But I feel like that's just gone now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me about the tribes. What do you think?
No, you tell me about the tribes.
Well, I'm just like narrating what happened.
Well, in the first episode, that it was that the orange tribe was kind of the flop, and blue seemed like that they had everything going on. They won the first challenge, and they, yeah,
just the names. Don't JLP this with red and blue. I'm not doing it.
Come on, it's the first week. We're introducing people to the show.
No, okay, fine. Yes, orange and blue, whatever.
Yeah, I could tell you the U.S. Survivor tribes. I mean, that's pretty good.
Could you?
Yeah, it's Bello and Lulu and Reba.
But what's the merge tribe name?
That didn't happen yet.
Yeah, I was trying to trick you.
Yeah, but yeah, mnemonically.
But can you tell me last season's like name tribe
Tika? I think it was Tika, Soka, and then the other one.
Was it with an R? Why can't I remember this?
Yeah, Tika, Soka, and the orange one.
No.
If I had multiple choice, I could do it.
We need Sam. Sam, where are you?
Dude, Sam Moore? He knows the tribe names?
You can look it up.
Oh, he can look it up. Yeah.
What is it? Was it like a
Ravu?
Was it Ravu?
Yes, I didn't look that up.
Okay. I just spent so much of our podcast together Googling things.
Yeah.
Like, that's not so anyway, so what were you saying?
What are you fact-checking me?
Yeah, I'm fact-checking me as well. I can't believe I couldn't remember. Like, I recently got pretty much all of Sareed's tribe names and colors. Yeah. 95%. Very impressive.
Name one tribe from Survivor 43, though.
Yeah, Coco.
Okay. Baka, right? And what was
and Vessi.
Okay, there you go.
Why is that? That's what. Okay.
Good for you.
It was Ratu. It wasn't even Ravu.
Okay.
We're meant to be Survivor
Close enough.
experts.
Come on.
We're meant to be Survivor experts.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what about Survivor 42?
Well, that was those are Taku.
Okay.
And Ika.
Mm-hmm.
And Van Vessi.
They're just making up words at this point.
Yeah, it is a lot of like 2-syllable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our fault, Rob. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're meant to be like leading global experts.
Right. Because I feel like when you park the show in Fiji forever, I feel like you're starting to run out of good tribe names.
Yeah, well, it's the show's fault.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't remember because I mean that was this year. That was like 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Tika.
Yeah. What do you think about the tribe names are named after, like, we're going to start like almost like battleships, like dedicating them to like, this is the Diaz Twine tribe.
Yeah. The Sandra. The Nina. I agree. You'd remember that for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Commission the tribes.
Sandra.
And maybe they have like a picture of them like on their tribe flag. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. I do feel like it would be like, welcome to season 55 and you are Boston Rob number 4. You know, like that's where Jeff would go with it. So diminishing returns, but yeah. All
right. So,
anyway, what were we saying? The orange tribe and the blue tribe.
The orange tribe and the blue tribe. Ultimately, that the orange tribe was having like all of the struggles in the first episode. They lost the first challenge. They didn't have any food. They couldn't get their fire going. They were having some issues, and that played on, continued into the immunity challenge. First immunity challenge. I did think that this was unusual for any Survivor season to have really kind of the team endurance challenge for immunity number 1. I cannot ever recall in the history of US Survivor where we've done, instead of like our first big obstacle course, we start a Survivor season with an endurance challenge. Wasn't mad at it. I like this.
Yeah. I mean, US Survivor won't do a pre-merge endurance challenge. Like I think they did it one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas, Australian Survivor will do it. But I thought for the first challenge, it was interesting.
Yeah, especially because then you had to you really got a sense of like who was contributing and who wasn't. And then the first person to go home, Richard, I did like that there was like some synergy with like Richard being the first US Survivor winner. It was also sort of like a mid-30s, like bearded, bigger guy. And then this Richard ultimately is the first person out of the new version of Survivor UK.
There you go. I mean, look, no one from the UK even seems to know that there is a US version of the show, but we can appreciate that synergy.
But once upon a time in the multiverse where Richard Hatch famously was supposed to be the first person to be voted out of US Survivor.
Well, don't tell this Richard what could have been in the other timeline.
Sliding
Richard
doors.
was fun. Richard was really fun in the exit interview. I feel like we didn't get it a lot on the show.
Yeah.
He brought a lot to the exit.
Now, I did watch David Bloomberg's TikTok of why Richard lost, but Shannon, in your opinion, what went wrong for Richard?
I thought Richard was stitched up, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought them blaming I've said this now on 3 separate podcasts, but I thought that the blaming the barrel on him was crazy. He was holding 2 barrels.
Yeah.
But I guess like whatever issue he had with Nathan that made Nathan drive a vote. I don't know if Nathan felt like he wanted to be the strong guy or just wasn't getting along with him. Saw more value in Leilani or Shy. Whatever it was, like he just didn't endear himself to the powers that be enough. Like he seemed close to Tanuke, but yeah, I just feel like Nathan was really driving that vote, and he didn't do enough in terms.
Let me bring up some of these people that you're.
Bring up
about.
Nathan.
Bring up Nathan. Nathan gets a lot of airtime.
Yeah, let's see Nathan.
Okay, hey, take it easy, Shannon.
Well, I'm not George. I'm nothing compared to George. Let me tell you. Hi, Nathan. What's up? Nathan's cute. I mean, it needs to be said.
Yes.
He's bringing a lot to the show from an aesthetic standpoint.
Is he cute or hot?
He's hot. He's hot. Yeah.
I don't think Nathan, but like, excuse me, cute?
No, it's fair. It's fair. It's fair. Yeah, Nathan's doing a lot. He's really ruling that tribe.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. He's
like the oiling scene.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think that yeah, Survivor UK, and it really wasn't even the women. It was like, hey, we're Survivor UK. It's 2023. We're here to objectify the men. So let's have like long, just like lingering shots of like the hot guys like pouring oil all over each other and then wrestling.
But is that not so Australian Survivor? Because I know that there's been a lot of influence from Australian Survivor, from production, and just like that's what the UK is more into is Australian TV. We do that too. You know, it's rare to get it like Australian Survivor seasons out of butt.
Yeah, right. But tell me if you think that like I'm reading this correctly from off base. I feel like Australian Survivor would edit it for comedy, where like it would be sort of like playing it up, like, oh, isn't this funny? Like guys getting oiled up. And I felt like that Survivor UK was playing it like unironically.
Yeah, because they're being oiled up. Enjoy.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yes.
I think we might have a bit more of like the bow chicka wow wow, like self-referential, we know what we're doing kind of thing. We're still oiling up men though, at the end of the day.
Like, yeah. I just feel like that. Like I think that, you know, JLP is like, isn't this funny? Like what's happening? And then this was like not so much.
Honestly, I don't remember much about it. About the tone of it. But that was Nathan. Did you have more on Nathan other than
no? Well, he seems like that he's like really running that orange tribe. Yeah,
he does. I mean, look, he's very strong, and I mean, seemingly well liked.
Yeah,
so I think he did well. You know, I gave him chizzy points, but
yes. I mean, we'll see. We didn't see a ton of his game. He seemed like he had some alliances going, but you know, we don't really know too much about him as a player.
That tribe is vague. Like that tribe is just like a mess of vagueness, like strategically and like in the hierarchy, compared to like the other tribe has like 2 alliances. So that's like a lot easier to kind of grasp onto the dynamics.
It seemed like to me also that Richard, I maybe like misrepresented that he could get the fire going. He seemed like that he was the guy on fire duty. Ultimately, it never came to be. I kind of feel like that if you are sort of like taking on fire duty and you don't get it done, like I do think that that's the kind of thing that people are very like irritated and annoyed with you, where if he gets like that fire going, he's the hero. He's not going home. But it's like, all right, let me, because you saw him every scene he was on. He was like, you know, trying to get the fire going. And because like if it's like, this guy's a flop. He says he can make the fire, and there's no fire. Like, and now he gave up in the challenge. He should go.
Yeah, but you know what my favorite part of the episode was? What? When they left Tribal and Joel was like, and here's your flint. And I was like, oh, hallelujah.
Thank you. Thank you. Like, you got to win a challenge.
No. Thank you, Joel. But what did you think? Because George and I kind of disagreed about how much Blue / Lenena got for winning that first challenge, which really put Calaton on the back foot for like.
But they got everything that they were able to take
off the boat. Well, everything both
they
tribes
get it for
took
both
off the
tribes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, George didn't like it. I kind of like that it. I mean, look, it was risky. We've talked in US Survivor about like, are they creating disaster tribes on purpose based on your assessment that like maybe it's more entertaining? But I thought it built a narrative around the struggle.
It's more entertaining with 3 tribes.
Yeah, that's true. 2 tribes, it just gets really depressing, especially when it feels production led in terms of like the disparity. I'm mostly joking. They shouldn't be creating disaster tribes, but I felt like it did create a narrative because they struggled and then they overcame, which maybe was lucky. But
the second
there
episode,
was like there was
reverse.
a trajectory there because they've been on the back foot.
I think that in hindsight, I would say, or maybe not even hindsight, just my instinct is that I feel like that to give them both of their hauls, I feel like probably was too much.
Fire is already so much, as we know, and then
because they already didn't get the flint also.
Yeah, so they did get a lot, and it was like Calaton were actually like ahead, so it was a sliding doors moment. Yeah.
How long does it take for Survivor UK to figure out their parchment situation? I know that the US Survivor struggles with this in the first season, but at some point, like, we're gonna need better paper than like, printer paper for tribal council, right?
Yeah, that looks worse than like when Peter proposed in my Survivor theme proposal that you were a part of. My mother-in-law had like created like burnt, really cool looking parchment, and I wrote yes on it. That looked way better. I'm so sorry, BBC art department, but that looked a million times better than what they had.
It's like we were like taking like tissues out of somebody's pocket and reading. I think this one says.
Write it on your hand.
Like, yeah.
What was the issue in Borneo?
I just think they were very it was very wet and rainy, and I feel like that, especially like those first couple of tribal councils, like Jeff is like trying to like take apart a paper towel and hold up the votes.
Well, and like it's like name your early parchment paper issue on Survivor, because the issue that New Zealand Survivor had was that they were folding it
too many
vertically.
times.
Yeah, they were folding it vertically. So instead of folding the vote across, they were folding it like on top, like long. They were folding it long ways.
Were they making a paper airplane?
It was ridiculous. Like, but no one was like, "You're folding it wrong," and it was all anyone could talk about. So look, parchment issues are apparently like a growing pain of like early Survivor franchise.
Yeah, they got to figure it out. Okay.
Yeah. What about the immunity log?
Yes, I saw that.
Do you like it?
It's so interesting in terms of like what they do, because they have these international Survivor formats, and it's like Charlie Parsons is like created by him, and so there must be like some kind of like a binder where you buy the international format for Survivor of like, okay, you've purchased the rights to Survivor. Like, here's the binder of like what Survivor is and how to do it. And I guess like the art direction is like, hey, we need a trophy. What should it be? And that's what they came up with. Like, were they scrambling, or was it like they got to the first, like, guys, we don't have an immunity. Like, okay, find something.
Stick. But they had the jewels. Do you think they were just wearing some sort of jewelry and they put it on the log?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Dalton Ross had a picture.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Dalton did tweet about it. That's what I was saying to George. I'm like, the log is going viral. The log is the main character of the show. Like, people who aren't watching only now know about the log.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Are
you gonna bring up the tweet?
Yeah, I'm gonna show the tweet here. Of course, if you're listening to just the podcast version, that we post the video also. Dalton Ross says that love that the Survivor UK immunity idol is basically a log they found on the beach with some rando jewelry. Yeah, it's a little bit like the Infinity Gauntlet merged with Groot.
No, yeah, it is. That's a great comparison. It does look like they like woodified Thanos' hand. Or like they turned him to wood, not to stone. Or dust, but it does.
A shot of our host Joel.
The sad thing is that this has 493 likes. Like, that is probably the most likes for any Survivor UK tweet on the internet, and it's about the immunity log.
Mm-hmm.
That's not great for the show. I get it though. It's funny. Immunity log is objectively funny. Like, I'm going to be using that all season. It's great. Why would they do it? Just why? What else from a production perspective? We can talk about Lenena, but from production, we talked about the challenges. The challenges I thought were honestly really good.
I thought the challenges were good. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, compared to US Survivor season 1, light years ahead of where we were there. Yeah. The second episode, we end up was there a reward and also immunity, or just one challenge?
So there was the oily.
Oh yeah, the rule. Okay, oily. I forgot about. How could I forget about that?
The crate challenge, like, not great, but
yeah. What was the reward?
Fishing gear.
Yes. Did anybody fish?
Doug he's a fisherman.
Yeah, Doug was kind of presented as maybe the closest thing that we have to a villain.
Well, Doug got 6 chili points.
Yeah.
He was a swing vote. So okay. He's a fan, I think, so he's, knows what's going on.
Yeah, cool. Doug is here to play. He ends up being like in the middle of this first vote.
Yeah. And that was cool. You know what I love? I love that. I love having a bigger tribe with some like real dissension where you can have 2 active groups going for each other. Like, that's what's a really fun part of having bigger tribes. So
here's Doug. Doug from the Isle of Mull.
He's a flood risk consultant, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
George was saying that would be helpful in terms of like, think about like Rupert's Shelter, right? That's a flood risk. Don't do it. Like, see, that's already helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to talk about the second vote, Shannon?
Yes. What about it?
Well, let's just talk about because there were a few different viable women that needed to get voted out of the tribe, according to what we saw in the episode. First, there was Ashley. Ashley had gotten she hurt her hand in one of the challenges.
She hurt her hand holding the barrel.
Yes. Okay.
We never really got a close up of the hand. I'm like, how injured is this hand?
Yeah, it was a little bit like taped up. And so she ends up sitting out of the second immunity challenge.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, is this the curse of Claire gonna strike down Ashley?
Well, she played a challenge. That's why she got injured. She's like, never again. Claire was onto something. Yeah. So
okay. So Ashley sits out of the challenge, and then we have a situation where we have two women who are going to be sent out to go and untie the ropes. One of our two Rach's.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yes.
Our Rach. We have a Rachel and a Rach.
A Rach and a Sabrina. Okay. Yeah. They're gonna have some trouble with untying the knots.
Yeah. But Sabrina, like, she was anyway, I feel like, the head of the losing alliance and was anyway irritating people. Like, from the bench.
What was she doing? What was going on with Sabrina to get on people's nerves?
She was too enthusiastic. She had this great quote. Actually, I wrote it down. When she was pumping them up from the challenge, I need to find it. She goes, energy, endurance, strength, legs.
All things.
Yeah, I mean, look, she's like a massive marathon runner. I think she was just annoying people. And then she also screwed up the challenge. She also seemed to just not be in the right alliance. Like, Doug seemed to just vibe better with the other group.
Yeah.
And she didn't have the numbers. So.
What was Doug's reasoning? He just didn't want to be part of that group? Because, I mean, we did see where she's like, I'm confident. I have my 5.
Yeah, she said that. She felt like she was very blindsided by Doug. She never thought that she didn't have Doug. I think Ren was more iffy in terms of where Ren would go. But for Doug, I mean, I felt like he told his the alliance he went with, like, oh, I'm the swing vote here. And then he told the other alliance, like, oh, I just overheard them. So he would, like, the fact that he was lying to the one group made me feel like he just seemed to vibe better with the group he went with. Like, he was more transparent with them. Just
think there's going to be blowback for Doug?
Maybe. Probably. That's the hard part about being wanted is that then you're gonna have to piss people off. So while he did get the Chizzy points, it's hard to avoid that. Hopefully they just need him and like can't really afford to just trash him now.
Shannon, do you know how long is the Survivor UK season?
Oh, I didn't say this in the recap. I think it's 34 days.
34 days. Okay, that's a nice length.
Kind of in the middle of where we've been.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that around the world we have 26 days, 34 days. We've seen 39 days, or 50 days. Yeah. What do you think is the ideal amount of time for a Survivor season?
I think the ideal amount of time is 39 days. It'd just be 39. It was perfect.
I could even like come down on the side. Maybe 39 is a hair long. Maybe there's a little bit. You have like a lot of like dead time towards the end, and maybe people like don't have enough energy. But I do feel like that like low 30s ish might be the sweet spot. Yeah.
I think this is fine. I'm interested to see where the format goes, like, because it's so new and so different and its own thing, and people calling it traders on an island, not realizing Survivor's been a thing for just decades. But like, is it going to be a final 2 or a final 3? I'm trying to work that out with 34 days and 18 players. If it might have to be a final 2, maybe I'm just hoping. I don't know.
Do you think that we'll have a swap?
Depends how I mean, like, to get to season 3, we're already going to get an idol. So in terms of the time traveling, I really hope so. Because like we need some shakeup. We need to see, like, I think that I don't know. I have no idea what the UK Survivor is going to do. I'm just along for the ride like you are.
We had some Survivor contestants complaining about how bad it smelled. And I feel like I cannot really recall too many times in the history of Survivor the contestants themselves commentating about what the smell is like, because I feel like that being somebody, I feel like that you're part of, you're the frog in the boiling water, you are like part of like the bad smell. Once in a while you will like come across like one particularly smelly person.
Oh no, who wasn't?
Who was, do I think Matthew?
No, for you.
Matthew.
Yeah, because I'm
Yes.
like, you're talking about someone. You're not saying this like
Yes.
hypothetically. Yeah.
Yes.
That was actually, I could have guessed, I think. Was right.
Mm-hmm.
Sharpening the machete is like a sweaty exercise.
In fairness, he was probably like working
doing
harder
the most
than
physically.
yeah.
That's why I think so. Like,
to be fair, yeah.
You're complaining about him, and he's just like doing the work. Come on, Rob.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Justice for Matthew.
Yes. I think a lot of the work he was doing, nobody asked him to. I think he was doing it because he liked it.
But this is why you want to be on the check-ins. 40 minutes into a Survivor UK week 1 check-in, you have found out Matthew, the smelliest cast member of Survivor Amazon.
I mean,
like,
look, I believe that came up in the what's that contest called? The touchy subjects. I believe that was one.
It was
who
in
smells.
The season?
I think so. I think it was.
I'm the worst fan. I can't remember Ratu.
Yeah, I think you're okay.
I think you're
okay to not remember a question from a 21-year-old TV show.
It's a second thing tonight, and I'm feeling a little down on myself.
Shannon, who else stood out to you from Survivor UK?
Jess is fun. On Calaton, the one who, she was like complaining a lot about
she's the model. She's the fittings model. Yes.
Yeah. She seems like she could be like a Bridget Jones type.
She's like, can somebody get me a hairbrush also?
Yeah. Yeah. I think she could be really entertaining. Laurence, as I said, is amazing. Ren is a super fan. High hopes, hopefully, for Ren. Shy.
Hold on. You're going through these people too fast. Let's bring them up. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember Ren. What did Ren do?
Ren was just more with Doug in terms of the swing vote. They did get a very, a small edit, but we know that Ren is like hardcore super fan, like spreadsheet level. So I think if anyone's going to be the Nick, it probably is Ren. So I think we're just holding out hope. I think George made them their winner pick.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then so Ren was Shy. What about Shy? He's also a huge fan, and he's the one that everyone's kind of turned on, which is exciting. So
here's Shy. Was not shy about telling people what they should be doing.
Yeah. And then Peg Leg.
Oh, how can we not talk about Peg Leg?
Now
hold on. Now before you get out and writing your emails and like and canceling us, okay? Yeah. Look. He said my name is Peg Leg. His name on the website is literally Peg Leg. Okay.
Yeah, officially, yeah.
It's like, well, I don't think we should call him that. Okay, well, that's what his name is.
His name, Peg Leg. Peg Leg's iconic. I think even Joel was like, Peg Leg, you're my hero.
Also, yes. And for anybody who's just listening to the podcast, Peg Leg is an amputee.
Yeah. Yeah. And said preseason, like he's a surf instructor, I think. So he's like very at home in the water. And he like really bodied that last immunity challenge for everyone. So
yeah.
Peg Leg's a standout.
Okay. Did they talk about what happened to Peg Leg?
In the preseason, I think he was born without an ankle. So he had his foot amputated from like pretty much birth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then he changed his name officially to Peg Leg.
Yeah. Because he's a surf instructor. I think a lot of people would presume like, oh, shark. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No. But he's a character.
Yeah. Peg Leg's fun. That's the first Peg Leg in any Global Survivor, name-wise.
First ever Peg Leg.
Yeah.
Has there even been a Peg?
I don't think so.
Other than Bob Crowley's wife? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't name my cat Peggy either. Justice for Peggy. So this was my cats are Angelica and Eliza for the Hamilton fans. I have a question. What did you think about the preview, the first 2 minutes? Did you enjoy?
I skipped it because you told me.
Oh, you skipped it? Okay, good. So I'm helping people. Sometimes you think like, why do I do this? It's my job to talk about Survivor. Am I making a difference? I made a difference to people. Tweeted.
Shannon said, don't watch the first 2 minutes. It's very spoilery.
It was ridiculous, Rob. I'm spoiled.
Shannon, I take what you say as gospel.
I didn't realize that you were reading all my tweets like that. Like, I didn't know that you would see it necessarily. Like, I knew that you would. I thought you might do it if you saw it. I didn't know if you necessarily saw it.
Yeah.
It was so spoilery, Rob. They showed votes.
Okay. Well,
they showed them voting for Ashley and Rach. Like, they showed the second episode votes.
Yes. Who was your winner pick?
My winner pick was Tanuke.
Tanuke. Okay. Here.
She's with Nathan.
Yes.
They have like this.
No, I know. So
Getting it in the
Yes.
layers.
And that was a fun scene. And they were like, oh, we gotta hide this from everybody.
Yeah. I like that she's in
Tanuke.
control, but she seemed close to Richard. That's what we saw, was that like Richard went, So just looking to see a little more, but still feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, okay. So if this is a Survivor UK first season, I kind of feel like that mateship is going to be a little bit on the table, right? I feel like that we're going to probably want, maybe not as much, but I feel like that if somebody is like super snaky, I feel like that maybe they don't have like the respect of the jury in this season. So I think it's also probably going to be somebody who's going to have to like hold their own in the challenges.
Well, yeah, from a mateship perspective, like clearly that's like Australian, but the UK consultants that we have were telling me, thank you as well as always to our consultants, Graham and Emily and Josh, that there's like they demonize gameplay in the UK. Like they said these 2 episodes were like very strategic for the UK.
Wow.
Like usually like in Big Brother, they're like, don't talk about who you're voting for.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you're not like so if they're going to be really having to like push in terms of strategy and how much like jurors or players will allow for it.
All right. Then I'm going to make winner pick.
Oh, winner pick after 2 episodes.
Peg leg.
Peg leg. That's great. Peg leg, honestly, I mean, your winner pick doesn't count because it's 2 episodes in.
Winner pick doesn't count. Was I supposed to make a preseason?
Yeah, that's how winner picks
work. Who cares? Who cares?
Clearly me. I'm actually extremely fastidious about it. It's like a big part of who I am. Huge part of who I am.
Come on.
If peg leg wins, you're gonna be like, oh, I called it after 2 episodes. That actually would be a good call because I wouldn't like have peg leg pegged right now as a winner. But not on purpose.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I feel like that. Okay, he's feisty. He's got Jerry upside. He can get to the end. The people like him.
Jerry,
I think he's gonna be somebody who I mean, look, I think he's got some tricks up his sleeve.
Rob, I'm pretty sure peg leg is gone next. He has a winner pick. The person that you just chose was someone who was on the wrong side of the vote. And who else was on the wrong side of the vote? Lee, the professional boxer, Hannah, who's a professional soccer player, and Peg Leg. He's the only person left out of the vote who is a surf instructor, but who was not a professional athlete at this time. He's number 1 to go on that drive.
Shannon, pick a lane, okay? Peg Leg is out next, or I can't have my winner pick. What do you want to be?
Okay, because it's such a bad pick, you get grace for being 2 episodes in because it's just like a wild 2nd episode pick. Most people would use what they
like. I have the voting chart open. Like I know who was on the wrong side of the vote.
Well, Peg Leg was. I'm dying to tell you.
No.
You went on just vibes, and because of that, your winner pick is
legitimate. He's been through worse than this, Shannon. Okay.
Clearly,
if anybody can overcome, it's Peg Leg.
You don't seem to have taken the insights of the episodes you've watched, but I like your commitment to Peg Leg winning the game. So
yeah, this is a check-in. I don't have to know the votes.
So I'll tell Peter. What's the difference between a check-in and a podcast? You do podcasting every week. The difference is Rob doesn't know the votes. Oh, but also he doesn't know the tribe names from the last US Survivor season that he covers 40 times a week. Then he'll be like, well, what's the difference? And he'll be right.
If the tribe names were important, I would know them.
You should know Ratu, and so should I. It was a failing on both of us, and I think we should just apologize and get it out of the way. I'm sorry. I remember Tika. It was a lot about Tika.
It was a lot about Tika.
The Tika show. I'll never forget Tika, I'll never.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Shannon, anything else you want to say about 2 episodes of Survivor UK?
We have fun. This is like what I want to say. Everyone should watch.
Yeah, check it out.
And become a patron and listen to our patron content.
Look, we have for our patrons, we have links for all the international reality TV series, Survivor, The Traitors, Big Brother. We make it very easy for people to follow the shows that we love all around the world, and we have coverage, a lot of it from Shannon, about these different reality shows. And I do think it's super fun, even if it's maybe not the franchise that you're the most into, but to see what's going on these other franchises and see how different takes on the Survivor format. Like it's really, really fun.
Yeah, and I love this global world of Survivor. I really do. Like, oh, that's from Survivor New Zealand, and then they, like getting to cover that and be a small part of it is truly, it's a luxury.
Did any Survivor UK contestants reach out to you and George on social media after you did the preview, or are they sort of like in their own bubble?
George seems to know a couple of them.
Okay.
And a lot of them follow them. Sabrina, it's to follow George. Sabrina was like, I wish George was on this exit interview. I was like, all right, well, you just got me. But anyway, and
Rude.
then it's fine. I get it. George compared to me, like, she was right. And she also got voted out. Let's give Sabrina some grace. Chris reached out.
These contestants are not going to wish George was on the exit interview because you're going to like give them like tactful questions, and George is going to be like, what were you even thinking, you idiot? Why would you ever do something like that?
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, look, I don't think George was like harsh on Sabrina. He wasn't. But I feel like for most people, like, I wish George was here. Like, listen to the recap, and George is like, they're so boring. Get more entertaining.
George, please take it from me. Be careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah, but Chris reached out to me. So I don't know. Know how much are we connected to this world of UK.
Let me
Survivor?
scroll who Chris is. Okay. Oh yeah, Chris. Yes. Here's Chris. Did get some airtime as well.
Yeah, also with some cheesy points.
Okay, there you go. All right. Shannon and I also had a great episode of the recap this past week, where we had some interesting conversation, I thought, about Cirie's run on Big Brother, what Cirie's time on Big Brother taught us about Cirie.
Yeah. We
you
debated
could hear that.
it.
We didn't exactly agree on that, but I thought we had a wonderful conversation.
It's going really well. Anyone who's not watching Big Brother, it's going great.
For you or for Cirie or both?
I meant it as both, but I meant it sarcastically.
Yes. And I think that Cirie would as well.
Yeah.
You and Cirie are in lockstep on how Big Brother has gone.
Very well. That's true. When Cirie's happy, I'm happy, and she has not been happy for going on like 2 months now. So
yeah,
it's been a grind. Yeah.
All right, Shannon. Where can people keep up with everything you're doing?
At Shannon Gates, all the content, so much stuff. Know-it-alls this week.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes. So, what a big week for you of the
kickoff Peter as well. I was like, what?
The kickoff of Survivor UK. Yeah. I mean, well, look, these podcast spouses, they are the unsung heroes.
Peter doesn't listen when I talk. That's what I mean, it sounds like he does because he could name all the Big Brother contestants. But in terms of my schedule, like, is Nicole happy about all the podcasting, or is she?
No, she's very unhappy. And I was telling her that, like, I'm like, hey, like in January, like, hey, there's going to be, Big Brother's going to be over, Survivor's going to be over, Amazing Race is going to be over, Suits is going to be wrapping up. And she was very passive aggressively was like, oh, well then are you going to take up more podcasts, or God forbid you spend time with your family?
Are you going to take up more podcasts?
Well, after that answer, definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
listen, you attract more flies with honey than vinegar. If you want me to be around, everybody's nice to me on podcasts.
I am not nice to you on podcasts, so that is not an excuse.
Comparatively, you are extremely nice, Shannon.
Well, that's very sad. I think that we know you would have taken up the podcast regardless. Nicole, justice for Nicole. But no, well, I said to Pete, he's like, oh, well, you're going to get these podcasts done, and then you're like done for the week. I'm like, I'm doing know-it-alls in 2 days. He's like, that's this week?
Yeah, but that's done by Wednesday then.
Thursday for me.
Yeah, and then
it's just,
then you have nothing until Saturday.
Then I have the whole weekend, which is good because I have a wedding. But yeah, just the way he was like, I thought that was like next month. I'm like, are you listening to anything that I say? We need like a calendar on the fridge.
Okay. All right. Maybe not a bad idea. I don't know how we
got into this, but
okay.
Anyway, know-it-alls with Christian Hubicki.
Yeah, that's going to be a really fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shannon and Christian Hubicki will be live after the U.S. Survivor episode coming up all the tribe names. Wednesday. We'll know all. Well, there will be no tribe.
Yeah, but if there was, I would know it.
If there was a tribe name, you would know it, but you don't have to worry about that because it's Mergatory. Yeah. People have Mergatory on Survivor UK.
Can you imagine? But maybe we're really going forward in time. By the time we get to the final 7, it's like do or die. And like, what have we got ourselves into? That's a fun concept, though. It's like through the eras of Survivor. I say Mergatory. Am I about to embarrass myself even more? Is it You say Murgatory with the soft G. I feel like most people do.
Yeah.
I go Murgatory. I go the
I would say
Murgatory
on Wednesday night. I think you're
I
gonna
don't
get
think I can.
some feedback on Murgatory.
I mean, I've been saying it for 4 seasons. Like, if I'm such an idiot, then someone should have pointed it out earlier.
Prime time, baby.
I think it's like GIF or GIF. Like, there's no correct answer.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's
just say in Australia it's pronounced Murgatory.
Yeah.
You'll get more grace. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So check that out. And then I will be heading out to Brea, California for our live show to have a great panel of Survivor guests, great Big Brother panel. Those podcasts will be out on Thursday for Survivor.
Yeah. So between the two of us.
Yeah. Got a lot going on.
Yeah, podcasting.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back. Okay. We posted this one in the main feed for everybody to check out. But next week, this is patron only for the Survivor UK check-in. Hope to see you then. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.